Patrick White, 1912 to 1990, Australian author and winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1973. Voss, 1957, is the fifth published novel of Patrick White. It is based upon the life of the 19th-century Prussian explorer and naturalist Ludwig Leichhardt, who disappeared whilst on an expedition into the Australian outback. The novel centers on two characters, Voss, a German, and Laura, a young woman, orphaned and new to the colony of New South Wales. It opens as they meet for the first time in the house of Laura's uncle and the patron of Voss's expedition, Mr. Bonner. Johann Ulrich Voss sets out to cross the Australian continent in 1845. After collecting a party of settlers and two aborigines, his party heads inland from the coast only to meet endless adversity. The explorers cross drought-plagued desert then waterlogged lands until they retreat to a cave where they lie for weeks waiting for the rain to stop. Voss and Laura retain a connection despite Voss's absence, and the story intersperses developments in each of their lives. Laura adopts an orphan child and attends a ball during Voss's absence. The traveling party splits in two and nearly all members eventually perish. The story ends some 20 years later at a garden party hosted by Laura's cousin Belle Radcliffe, née Bonner, on the day of the unveiling of a statue of Voss. The party is also attended by Laura Trevelyan and the one remaining member of Voss's expeditionary party, Mr. Judd. The strength of the novel comes not from the physical description of the events in the story but from the explorer's passion, insight and doom. The novel draws heavily on the complex character of Voss. The novel uses extensive religious symbolism. Voss is compared repeatedly to God, Christ and the devil. Like Christ, he goes into the desert, he is a leader of men and he tends to the sick. Voss and Laura have a meeting in a garden prior to his departure that could be compared to the Garden of Eden. A metaphysical thread unites the novel. Voss and Laura are permitted to communicate through visions. White presents the desert as akin to the mind of man, a blank landscape in which pretensions to godliness are brought asunder. In Sydney, Laura's adoption of the orphan child, Mercy, represents godliness through a pure form of sacrifice. There is a continual reference to duality in the travelling party, with a group led by Voss and a group led by Judd eventually dividing after the death of the unifying agent, Mr. Pal Freeman. The intellect and pretensions to godliness of Mr. Voss are compared unfavourably with the simplicity and earthliness of the pardoned convict Judd. Mr. Judd, it is implied, has accepted the blankness of the desert of the mind, and in doing so, become more godlike. The spirituality of Australia's indigenous people also infuses the sections of the book set in the desert.